53 of One Man's Opinion. Today I am reviewing the Broadway revival of Monty Python's Spamalot, with book and lyrics by Eric Idle, music by John Duprez and Eric Idle, based on the film Monty Python and the Holy Grail, written by Graham Chapman, John Cleese, Terry Gilliam, Eric Idle, Terry Jones, and Michael Palin. It is directed and choreographed by Josh Rhodes and running at the St. James Theater at 246 West 44th Street in New York City. Hey all, did you know that you can support my show for as little as $1 a month? Come on over to my Patreon page where you can get exclusive and early content. I'll leave a link in the description. Like many people, I discovered the joys of Monty Python back in high school. Many thanks to my world history teacher, Jody Beltram, for introducing me to it by having us watch Monty Python and the Holy Grail in class. So the film is one of my childhood classics. Once I started studying musical theater, it did always seem like it would be an obvious choice for a stage adaptation, and I was thrilled when the original production opened in 2005. I did see the original production. It was probably second or third cast by that point, but I don't remember much regarding details, so I can't give you a quality comparative of the two. I do recall I enjoyed it, but at the time I felt a little disappointed that the musical didn't adhere to the movie's ending with the Bridge of Death, the Gorge of Eternal Peril, and Castle Arg, but I think that is my relatively naive view of musical adaptations at the time and not appreciating that things change in order to fit the medium. See my review of Back to the Future for additional thoughts on that. Being a good bit older now, and what I hope is wiser and more insightful, I think what makes Spamalot work is that though there are changes, the spirit of the film is still there. King Arthur, played by James Monroe Iglehart, gathers his knights of the Round Table and is then commissioned by God to find the Holy Grail. Hilarity ensues as they go through a series of ridiculous scenarios as they attempt to reach their goal. The musical makes an attempt to heighten the message of the story, expounded upon in the number Find Your Grail in the first act, where Grail is more of a metaphor than a literal object. It works for the purpose of the musical and the ending it moves toward, which, as I said earlier, is completely different. The cast is having a blast recreating classic scenes from the film that remain in the show, like the constitutional peasant, the Black Knight, the French taunters, the swamp castle, the knights who say ni, and more. Plus, there are all of the added elements, like Leslie Rodriguez Kritzer's show-stopping performance as the Lady of the Lake. Several times throughout the show, like during Come With Me and Diva's Lament, she is given room to improvise and riff on current events in the numbers. At one point, Iglehart is sitting stage right with several of the other knights, and he's got his hand over his mouth, failing to hide his laughter. It's great. I love seeing that happen in shows where it can be appropriate like this. It's wonderful. With the principal cast mostly playing multiple roles, there are some that come off more memorable than others. Ethan Slater, who is credited with 8 different roles, is great as Prince Herbert, who would rather sing all day than go through an arranged marriage. Michael Urie is perfect as the cowardly but musical theater-loving Prince Robin. Taran Killam is hilarious as the French taunter, but I felt his Sir Lancelot could have been more oblivious. Nick Walker, who performs the number of the song that goes like this with Leslie Rodriguez Kritzer, is fabulous, but it's the scene as the constitutional peasant who becomes Sir Dennis Galahad here that really shines. It's a scene that a lot of Python fans can recite word for word, and he and James Monroe Iglehart keep the banter fresh and alive. The most underutilized of the Knights is Jimmy Smagula as Sir Bedivere. A lot of that has to do with the scenes cut from the film, as that character is the one that suffers the most from the cuts, like the witch trials scene, but his Dennis's mother bit in the constitutional peasant scene is excellent. Let's also not forget Christopher Fitzgerald, who is wonderful as the long-suffering Patsy, Arthur's coconut-clapping page. What makes Spamalot so enduringly funny beyond the cast is the music. Opening with the absurd fish-slapping song prepares us all for what's going to happen the rest of the show musically, like the Lady of the Lake's backup dancers, the Laker Girls, and hilarious numbers like I Am Not Dead, You Won't Succeed on Broadway, and I'm All Alone. Plus there's the classic Python songs that made their way into the musical, Knights of the Round Table and Always Look on the Bright Side of Life, which will tickle classic fans of the Monty Python films. The design isn't all that much different from the original production, which makes sense. There is an expectation that audiences will have as to what the characters should look like and how the environment should look like in order to maintain that classic Monty Python feel from the film. The most notable, I think, is Paul Tate DePoo III's projection design that environmentally develops the physical castle set piece that dominates the stage. It also allows for some of Terry Gilliam-inspired animation to be prominently spotlighted. I think there may be some people who feel that a revival of Spamalot is unwarranted and maybe a little soon since the original production, and I think that's a fair argument, but personally I love the show and am glad to have something this light and funny return to the stage, especially during the holiday season when families can come together for a hysterical night of theater. But I am only one man's opinion, so be sure to leave yours in the comments below. If you'd like to see Spamalot, I'll leave a link in the description where you can get tickets. Don't forget to click on the link to my Patreon page in the description as well. You can also support my channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing, and click the notification bell to be alerted to future reviews. My next review will be the new Alicia Keys off-Broadway musical, Hell's Kitchen. Thank you for watching, and I will see you at the theater.